disastrous already. Already disaster. Am I recording? I guess I am recording. I feel like if I had been trained properly, I could have been really good at accents, but now we'll never know. Right? I feel like I could have been a contender. I don't know what to do with my hair. Hey, what's up, guys? Back on the YouTubes. Just kidding. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It feels, I have not done this in a while. I just haven't really felt like it. I kind of alluded to that on Instagram, for those of you that follow me there. I need to figure out what to do with my hair. I need to do something so that I'm not touching it this entire video and driving both you and myself insane. I literally can't. Oh, should we do the George Washington? I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. This is off to a really good start. I am back. Hi. I specifically wanted to make sure that the first video that I did film, once deciding that I had enough mental capacity to do so, was going to be this one. The one that a lot of you have kept asking me about and that I have been so delayed on getting out into the world. And I feel really bad about it because it's like one of the ones that I'm really excited to do, because it's about a brand that I genuinely really love and really care about and think is really awesome and is doing a lot of the right things. I talk sometimes on this channel about people that are not doing the right things, which is really fun and really entertaining. But occasionally there are people that come along and do the right things. And this brand owner, it's one of those cases in which I really value what they're putting their time into putting out in the world. If you're going to take the effort and put the money in and put the time in and the energy into building a brand, like, have a little integrity, do it with some flair, show me your vision. That's what I'm here for. That's what gets me excited. And I think it's what gets a lot of other people excited too. So when I discovered this brand, I got super excited because I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this is that magical energy expenditure that I am talking about. We're going to talk about Titanium Foxes, which is a French indie makeup brand. So far, eyeshadow exclusive, but in the future, who knows? I have no idea what Clara has planned. Clara is the brand owner. And let me discuss very briefly how I personally discovered this brand, which is through the lovely Jen, Dreaming in Multichrome on Instagram. I know Jen isn't super active or even active at all. I'm not even sure, but because I haven't been super active on Instagram in a while. She's in the past been very active. She's been very outspoken about a lot of things. And she's someone that I've garnered a lot of information from and someone that I really value. And she's a great person. She's a wonderful person. She is the only reason that I discovered this brand, because she discovered this brand or made this connection with Clara, the brand owner, and then shared about it on her Instagram. And she made it into this whole like original guessing game of, you know, what the first palette was going to be, what the colors in it were going to be. She was sharing the looks. It was like a big mystery game. We all got into it, like those of us that follow her that were excited about it. It was just one of these magical confluences of things colliding and making magic. And that's really how it felt. Jen, thank you very much for putting time and energy into sharing at that point what was a brand new thing that nobody knew about and putting energy behind it. You are definitely the reason I know about Clara and Titanium Foxes, and I think the reason that a lot of people know about them now too. It all started with this bad boy. This is Poppy Storm. Now, Poppy Storm is the first palette and it's absolutely beautiful. It's dark, it's mysterious, it's very grungy in many ways. It's bright and vibrant at the same time. It's really beautiful. I'm obsessed with the colors in this palette. And as soon as I saw this release, I was like, what is that? Like, it had edge, it had vision, it had beautiful art direction, the cover, the Poppy Storm of it all, the poppies, the brand logo of the fox, the everything about it was like elegant and thoughtful. And I was like, thank God, somebody's got a really beautiful sensibility here. It's so welcome within this tiny community. Like, to me, it was just a breath of fresh air. I could not have been more excited, and I could not wait to purchase this palette literally on the day that it came out. I was so excited about it. I was like, yes, I want that. I need that. Give that to me. And so I did buy the first palette. Here's where we get into my little disclosure. All the subsequent palettes, of which there are 3, were gifted to me by the brand, which is extremely thoughtful and lovely, and I appreciate it. These were gifted to me without any obligations to share, post. I wasn't paid. These were just gifts. They were sent to me by Clara, and they are gifted. If I ever do paid content with the brand, of course, I will disclose that for you so that it is very clear what my affiliation is. But let it be known these were gifted, and that obviously comes with its own inherent bias. And so while I will never ever come on here and shillfully, is that a word? Shillfully? Or did I just make up something really cool? I'm not gonna promote anything to you that I don't fully believe in, that I don't love myself, that I don't use, that I don't love. But you have to understand, of course, or I hope you understand, there is still an inherent bias that comes with things when you're gifted them and you didn't have to pay for them. It's like a lovely thing, and I appreciate it. Is there a little bit more of a tendency for me to probably be solicitous of it because of that? Sure. But remember, my journey with the brand started with paying my own money to buy the palette, and I would have, and I'm telling you this right now 100%, had these not been sent to me, I would have bought them. 100% would have bought them anyway. So just know that going in. So yeah, it starts with Poppy Storm. It's just, it was such a breath of fresh air. It was a really unique color story in the way that it was put together, in the thoughtfulness behind it, in the arrangement of it, in the naming of things. Like, everything about it was just, it just felt so good. It felt so good to see. It felt so good to bear witness to this coming out. And I have to say, it came out for me at a really opportune time because it was coming out right as I was sort of doing a lot of dissection of brands and how they were kind of failing at the mission statement of just like putting beauty out into the world. And I saw this and I just thought, oh my gosh, someone's got it. Someone got the brief. Someone got the memo and they decided to do it. I subsequently found out, actually relatively recently, that this brand wasn't just born of Clara's vision, but it was born out of something really truly heartbreaking, which is that she had a cancer diagnosis. I'm so thrilled to share that, and she's shared online publicly that as of, a couple of days ago, she's cancer free, which is incredible. I mean, I can't imagine any better news to get as you release sort of a new product in the world, to be able to share that you're cancer free. But this whole thing was sort of born of that journey of needing to feel strong, of it being more than makeup, of it being something so much bigger, and filling that need that she had to do something creative, to do something beautiful, to take a really difficult and challenging circumstance and turn it into something else. And if anyone can relate to that, it's me. The whole reason that Face Forward, now Better Than Basic, was something that I created was because I had a miscarriage many years ago now, long before I had my son. I had a miscarriage, and it was one of the most heartbreaking times of my entire life. I still think about it. I still struggle with it. It never really ever leaves you. Anyone that's been through losses knows how incredibly devastating it is, no matter what the circumstances, no matter when in the process, no matter what happens. That kind of loss is life-changing. And that was the thing that ended up spurring me to do something different with my time, with my energy, to do something creative, to take my sadness and just mash it up and turn it into something beautiful. And I'm so glad that I did. And I'm so glad that Clara did the same thing with titanium boxes. And I think that kind of context is really important. I mean, someone's story is a beautiful thing. And I love that she's been open and recently shared her story with the world. I think it's great. You have to imagine, here's this person who's deciding to take what energy she's got and put it into the beginnings of a makeup brand. And she comes out with this. This banger is her first run out of the gate. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, it looks good on paper. Sure, it's very attractive. Beautiful design. I have to give her so many props for that. But you're gonna be like, okay, cool, but it's eyeshadow. How does it perform? She set a high bar, let me tell you. A very high bar. In my opinion, the formulas have only continued to get better from Poppy Storm to now Jay's Joy. Each time she's perfecting what she's doing and making it a little bit better. But even when Poppy Storm launched, it was already right away out of the gate a very, very strong showing. There's enough variety of textures in the palette that really give you opportunities to play around and do very varied looks. Like the mattes all perform really beautifully. There's like a little kick up in the pan, which makes them very soft to blend and easy, but not so much that it's like, you know, too much pigment or super messy everywhere. They're just soft. They are a great formula for someone like me who does not like to do the pack and blend. I'm not a big packer and blender. I'm a softly build up kind of person, which is why I am someone who really loves VisArt shadows, because they tend to be in that spectrum of, you know, you can slowly build them to get what you want. I don't need a shadow that's going to just be instantly like, bam, you know, put it on and then spend a lot of time blending it out. I like to softly build. And I feel like these shadows, despite the fact that they look incredibly pigmented in the pan, they work really well for my style of eyeshadow. In Storm, she does a few different types of sparkly shadows. I find that she's really good at these beautiful glittery toppers. They tend to be the glitter topper shades a little bit more emollient and a little bit more oily. If anything, I would say that if you are someone who deals with oily eyelids, definitely plan to use a primer with these. They are more like creating these gorgeous oil slicks on your eyes and giving you just like a wash of that kind of color than the kind of like harder or drier glitter formulas. It will blend and meld with your skin in a really gorgeous way. So I love that formula. I know it's not for everybody. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So I do think it's important that you know that that's a lot of what I experience within these palettes. But for me, I love it because it ends up giving you that really lived in look that I think is so sought after by people, because ultimately you don't want your makeup to look like makeup, or at least in general, I don't really want that feeling from my makeup. I want my makeup to mesh with my body and with my skin so that someone's just looking at me and thinking about how damn good I look in general. They're not looking at me and thinking like, wow, she's wearing a lot of makeup, you know, and that's fine. Like everybody's got different tastes, but that's what I like. Sparkly shadows, a little bit more of that emollient format, which I love and think is beautiful. Lots of beautiful duochromes, multi-chromes, lots of beautiful glittery, sparkly shadows, super kapow type of impactful shadows, and then beautiful, soft, blendable, buildable mattes. High marks from me on formula in general. So then we get into Poppy Quiet. Poppy Quiet was the second release from the brand, and obviously it is the lighter sister of Poppy Storm. This was such a surprise banger for me, because when the color story was finally released after, teasing it for some time, it sort of didn't initially look like my personal preferences for, an eyeshadow color story overall. My initial thought when I saw it was that it looked beautiful, like a really vibrant spring palette, but I'm not such a huge spring color palette kind of person. I'm more of a fall and sometimes winter color palette person. When the fall palettes come out, when the Halloween releases come out, I'm like a kid in a candy store. But when spring comes around and it's a lot lighter and a little bit more pastel-y, I get a little bit like, it's beautiful, but it's not for me. However, this was gifted to me. And now, having tried Poppy Quiet for so long, I can tell you, oh my God, this is one of those things I can't live without anymore. Truly, it is on my top fave palettes of all time usage that I've ever gotten. I don't even know if I can really put my finger 100% on why I love it so much. There's so much versatility in it. And these iridescent shadows at the top that all have a different color effect on the eyes when added as like a topper shade are just mesmerizing. I cannot say enough good things about how thoughtful this palette was put together. The purple, the blue, everything, this blue here, blue fly, I could go on and on and on about this palette. I've used it so much. I've used it so many times. When it was released, I did a whole week of looks using it. I did a collab look using it. I look back at those and I just think, damn, every look is so good that I did with this palette. It just kind of brings something out in me. I don't know. And I think I told Clara that when this came out, something about the release of this particular palette really made me think of Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know what it is, but I was like listening to some of the music from that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I just was very inspired, and you know, she kind of reminds me a little of Sophie, and then she told me that her kids sometimes like call her Sophie or like think of her as like Sophie from the movie, and it just was kismet. I was like, I don't know how I picked up on that. She never said anything about it. I don't know if that makes any sense. It maybe doesn't, but in my mind, that's just the image that came to the forefront. I actually think of all 4 of the palettes that are out and released right now, it is still my top favorite of the 4. It wouldn't have been my guess that it would have been my top favorite of the 4, but it's definitely my most used. I don't know if anything's gonna dethrone her. Honestly, she's just the absolute best. The second to most recent release is Grale Chat. You've never heard of a Grackle. It is a really awesome, beautiful bird that has these dark, oil slick, rainbow, iridescent wings. They're absolutely a beautiful bird, and I'd never heard of them before she named this palette. I love this winter color story because it's so deep and dark and has so much edge and sparkle. The only reason that Grale Chat isn't, I think, higher up for me in terms of the color story is because some of that deepness and darkness I can find when it's in a palette like this and there's not a lot of like lighter mattes for me to pull in. I find it a little visually intimidating. And it's not that I can't work with this, and of course I can bring in any other colors that I want, but if I just look at it like holistically just on its own, there's a part of me that's like, oh, how quick and is that gonna get to, you know, smoky, like super smoky? And I don't always want to do a smoky eye every day. Obviously, I go through phases with looks. I do all kinds of looks, but I will say it is perfect for a smoky eye. It's ideal for a smoky eye. But there's also so much more that you can do with this one. In the palette, it's called Squirrel because of a misprint issue. I think it was supposed to be called Sparkling Snow, and the other shade next to it was supposed to be called Squirrel, but it's the sparkly white shade. It really does look like snow. I absolutely love it. That shade in and of itself, I feel like, you know, it reminds me of Skin of a Killer shade that I talked about recently from Bella Beauté Bar. It just has that effortless, beautiful, sparkly element to it, and it's really stunning. There are so many shades in here that I love, but to be honest, I haven't gotten to play with this one that much because I feel like it arrived during a time when I started to get really busy and I just haven't been able to sit and play with makeup as much as I would like. So there's a lot more experimentation that I would love to do with this palette. I think Frozen Moss is one of those shades that is a little underrated. It's this like, you know, singy, a dirty olive green that I think is the perfect effortless smoky eye color for me. I really love it. I love that it sort of walks that gray-green line, and it feels like it has a lot more to give on the eyes than it does at first glance in the palette. It's really lovely. And Dripping Feathers is this, oh my God, it's this beautiful multi-chrome. It's got like pink and yellow and gold and orange, and it's like this dirty multi-chrome. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like a dirty multi-chrome, and I love it. It's so sparkly, but it's so grungy at the same time, and I feel like that is what Clara does best. It's just incredible. So while I love this palette, and I am excited to play with it more, I will say, as a holistic color story, it's a little bit more intimidating. I have to really think about how I want to use it, but there are some standout shades in it that I think are really lovely. And when you do kind of cross-reference all of these palettes side by side, there's a lot of differences between them. There's a lot of nuance. I know at first glance some of the palettes might end up looking a little similar to each other. I actually think that that's really not the case, especially in person. And then the most recent release is Jay's Joy. Now this palette like just arrived maybe a week ago, so I truly need to play with it more, but I love that this palette is more matte forward than some of the other ones. It's got a lot more matte shades in it than sparkly shades. I think there's 6 sparkly shades in it. oak right away. I was like, it is one of those red based, it's like a red undertone brown blue pigment shade, but it's more sparkly than that. This is the palette that I'm wearing today for this eye look. I used a bunch of shades. I'll put all the shades that I used in the description box below. The center of the lid is oak, and I think that this is and would make a beautiful one and done shade. It's got everything that you want. I'm excited to play with a lot more of the shades in here. I've done a little bit of playing around with Wet Feet because of course I have. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. And I'm so excited to play more with Leaf, which is that gorgeous chartreuse. I have a little of that on my lower lash line inner corner today as well. And I'm really excited to play more with that because when Clara showed me the palette and I saw the chartreuse in there, right away my eyes went right to that. I was like, I need to get my little paws on that. I'm so excited about it. There's a beautiful navy in there. Dawn looks like it's like just a beautiful springy but still moody navy, again, her specialty. And Spring's Heart, which is really interesting because it's like a deep eggplant, but it sort of walks the line between brown, purple, and blue. And I love shades like that. I feel like, again, to add depth to a lash line, to add a little bit of smoke to your look, shades like that are ideal. It's clear to me now that she's 4 palettes in that she knows how to do a color story. Even if I look at it and initially I'm like a little bit unsure of something or I don't know how it's gonna work, when I get it in person and I really get an opportunity to play, I see it, I get it, I experience it. It is perfect. They are perfect. If I had to make one recommendation for my own personal taste of one palette that has risen above the rest, it's still definitely Poppy Quiet. This is my favorite release so far, but I love all of them. And for the newer ones that I haven't played with that much yet, I am excited to play with them more. They inspire me. They really do inspire me. They get me excited. It's hard to give a lot of critiques. If anything, I would say that I would love to see her maybe do a little more of a contained color story. And by that, I mean something that doesn't try to do, like maybe a smaller format would be really cool to see her do, you know, a little bit more, a little less, not monotone necessarily, or, you know, monochrome, but something closer to that I think would do gangbusters for her. I'd love to see her think about that. And I'd love to see if she has any interest in doing any other kinds of products, because I could really see the Titanium Fox's brand getting bigger and taking off. But I know that her passion is certainly eyeshadow and eye looks. And I think that, you know, she's done such a beautiful job coming out with that to start. So who knows what's in the future? Not me. I don't know what's yet to come, but I hope a lot of really good things. I'm so excited for her. I'm so excited that it seems like things are building and growing and getting bigger and expanding, and that's all that I want. That's all that I want for somebody who I think is putting something beautiful out into the world and sharing it with all of us. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for letting me talk and ramble on about this brand and why I think it is important or matters or is cool to talk about. I think you'll impress all of your friends if you end up buying one of these palettes. They'll be like, what is that? Where'd you get that? And they work really well. I think you will be happy with the formulas. You'll be happy with the payoff. You'll be really happy with the overall design. If you see it on your vanity, if you get to look at it, they're beautiful. They're so considered. I'm really excited to share about it with you. That's kind of it for my full, as of now, as of this date, Titanium Fox's brand review. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely please consider leaving a like before you leave this video, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to have you around for future videos. I love to have new people join the channel. Thank you for everyone that's here now. I appreciate you so much. I do hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, whatever you are doing, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Talk soon.